Hi, this is Sue Jackson of the Book by Book blog, and I'm here with another Friday Reads. I know I always say this, but I really am going to try to make this quick this week because I'm supposed to be leaving right now. I've got a lunch date with my book buddy, an older woman that she's my book buddy from the library. I bring books to her because she can't drive herself anymore. And today we're going out to lunch, so I don't want to be late for that. So I'm going to try to keep this quick. Just got back from a trip that included 2 long plane rides, and this was the perfect accompaniment. First of all, small paperback, perfect for the plane, but also a wonderful book, New Orleans Morning by Julie Smith. Now, this was the read-along for the Mardi Gras Readathon, hosted by Kat's Novel Adventures and Laurie at Books, Ink, and Paper. I was a happy participant of the Mardi Gras Readathon. This was the bingo card for it. I used to live in New Orleans. I love everything about the city. And this book, it's a murder mystery and the first in a detective series, but it is also a love letter to New Orleans. It begins with the King of Carnival, that would be Rex, the King of Rex, being murdered during the middle of the parade, sitting on the float. Very New Orleans scene, very Mardi Gras scene. And from there, the detective featured in this, actually not a detective, a policewoman named Skip Langdon. And she grew up in New Orleans. She knows this murder deals with like the upper echelons of New Orleans society. And although Skip has turned her back on that world, she did grow up adjacent to it. Her father's a doctor who was the physician for the man who was killed and for many others. So anyway, wonderful murder mystery, very suspenseful. I already had this book. I had read it. It was published in 1991. So I think I've got the paperback. I probably read it in 1992, shortly after we moved here to Delaware from New Orleans. I know my husband and I both read it back then. Did not remember anything from back then. So super suspenseful, lots and lots of plot twists, but also New Orleans isn't just the setting here. It is baked into this novel. It's not just about the place. It is about the people and the culture and the strata of society there, about the neighborhoods and the foods and the architecture. It's everything. I kept reading lines out loud to my husband, just reminiscing. So for me, having lived there, it's like this novel is just full of Easter eggs. But I would think if you've never been to New Orleans, it would still be just an absolute delight to read because it is such a fascinating city with such fascinating history, such a unique place. So definitely recommend New Orleans Morning by Julie Smith. In fact, this has inspired me. We read this back in 1992 and never read any other of her books. She wrote a whole series after this one. So definitely going to look for more Skip Langdon mysteries by Julie Smith. I just finished that last night, so this is the book I am starting today, Ask Again Yes, by Mary Beth Keane. I know absolutely nothing about it, but Nikki of Red Dot Reads, she's taking a little break from BookTube at this time, but she and I so enjoyed buddy reading together last summer that we decided to buddy read this. Both of us have had things going on in our lives and big unexpected trips this month. So we kind of saved it for the end of the month, but really looking forward to reading this and to discussing it with Nikki. A quick update on the audio front. So you may recall that I was listening to a memoir called The Invisible Girls by Sarah Thabarge. This was a 213 audiobook, memoir, and I was really enjoying it on audio. I talked about it in my last Friday Reads, which was 2 weeks ago, and it stopped in the middle of a sentence. So I had downloaded this from Sync, SYNC, which provides two free audiobooks every week during the summer. It's a program focused on teens. The two books are usually matched. One is typically a young adult book matched with something with similar themes or setting, or, something that makes it similar, often nonfiction. So this was one of those. I don't think they did anything wrong. I probably messed up the download, only got half of the book. But when my audio stopped, I didn't know if I was 2 pages from the end, or 2 chapters from the end, or in the middle of the book. So my library doesn't have it. I tried everything. I finally bit the bullet and paid $9.99 for the Kindle, downloaded it, and was happy to find I still had about 100 pages left. However, I have not finished reading it on my Kindle yet. Because it's not audio. I was already in the middle of Mardi Gras morning, and now I have my buddy read, so it's kind of been put on a back burner, which I don't like to do. I like to read a book all the way through. So I'll probably be finishing it in early March. My next audio that I am almost done with now is Jollof Rice and Other Revolutions, a novel in interlocking stories. Okay, bear with me with the author's name. It is by Omolola Ijeoma Ogonyemi, and I'm sure I butchered that name, but so I've been listening to this, and then yesterday I went to the library to get the hard copy because I remembered I was partway through and listening to the stories, taking them each as a separate story. And then I remembered it's supposed to be a novel in interlocking stories. And while the audio is excellent, and I'm really enjoying the accent and the cadence of the narrator, many of these stories are set in Nigeria. I was struggling with the names a little bit with only listening to them. And I really wanted to see the names in print because I realized I was probably missing some of those connections. I'd hear a story like 3 later, and finally it occurred to me, wait, I've heard this character name before. So this has helped a lot, and I am still listening, really enjoying it. It's beautifully written. They are stories mainly focused on 4 girls who became friends at a boarding school in Nigeria when they were like 11 years old, and follows them through their adult lives. There are some other stories that don't seem to fit in yet, and I'm trying to figure that out. But I'm sure it will all connect in the end. It's just beautiful. It's really well written. The audio is excellent. Perfect read for Black History Month. Really enjoying this. However, I have to finish it because I just realized that when I got back from this trip on Monday night, I just realized that I'm reading this with Nikki over the next week, and my book group meets next Thursday, a week from today. Had no idea what the book even was. So the book is Whistling Past the Graveyard by Susan Crandall. And for reasons I don't understand, it's a 2013 release, but when I tried to download it from Libby, from my library, it had like 22 holds on the audiobook. And since I've already got a print book going, I'm going to need to listen to it on audio. I don't know why it's so popular. That's a good sign, I guess. So what I finally figured out was that I could request the audio CDs from my library since it is an older book. And I'm hoping those will be in by tomorrow, and then I can download those to my laptop, upload them to my iPod, and hopefully listen and finish it by the end of, by my book group. So the quick recap is a 9-year-old girl runs away from her Mississippi home in 1963. Supposedly, it's about a life-changing road trip. I'm all about the road trip, so really looking forward to that. So that's what I'm reading this week. I would love to hear what you're reading this weekend. Please let me know in the comments down below, and take a moment to like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already.